Yo, what up, friends? To the WNBA All-Star game, I did want to announce the starters for this game. The WNBA starters are playing Sunday. They dropped the starters. The starters will include the captains, Napheesa Collier, your former MVP, and Caitlin Clark, obviously the spark plug for most discussions within the WNBA and what we will also ask you about in a second. But fans, media's players, they all vote these players in. So again, looking here at our starting lineup, you do have Caitlin Clark. You do have her teammate, Aaliyah Boston, who's one of the beasts in the league. Yes. You do have the aforementioned Semanalmente Collier for the Lynx. You got Alicia Gray Star for Atlanta. She used to play for Las Vegas. And then you have the rookie, Paige Beckers, who is having one of the best rookie seasons in WNBA history and the first rookie ever to start a WNBA All-Star game, averaging 17.7 points and 5.5 assists per game. They will be playing against the other team. That is going to be – now, these teams are going to be picked. That's why they're not on teams. These are not the teams. They're going to do like a draft like they do in the NBA. So we'll see what happens with that. But Sabrina Ionescu, we know she's a beast. Nneka Ogumawale, a former Notre Dame star. She's freaking awesome. Satou Sabali as well. She's really good. Brianna Stewart, we know Stewie. She's always been around, founder of Unrivaled. And finally, one of my favorites and probably my favorite player in the league, A'ja Wilson for your Las Vegas Aces. What do you think about this All-Star?
I think it's great. I think that if you're drafted and you get Sabrina, you get Paige, you get Caitlin, you get Alicia and Brianna all on the same lineup, all on the same team, that's going to be scary. But I think it's going to be fun. I think they should do this like they did a couple years back, where you had whatchamacallit. You had oh boy, I'm blanking on his name. You had Kevin Durant and you had LeBron drafting, and you just had had like Charles Barkley making stupid comments. But like it would be
that's what we should.
I would love to see that if at all possible. So we'll this is something that I'll probably tune in for, or at least catch the highlights of. Just
also included not in starters, though, I just want to let you know, Skylar Diggins, Ryan Howard, Kelsey Mitchell, Kelsey Plum, Angel Reese, who has the beef going on, beef with Caitlin Clark, Alyssa Thomas, Courtney Williams, and Jackie Young, also from Las Vegas. What I want to ask you about now, though, is that Caitlin Clark was voted as a captain, although there's a lot of backlash because there's a lot of better players that could have been included in the All-Star game, and that teams do not necessarily are not as low in the standings as the Indiana Fever are. How do you feel about Caitlin Clark seemingly being inserted into a starting lineup and captain that maybe she did not necessarily deserve based on play, not on popularity?
I'm okay with it because it is based off of popularity to an extent. And, if you're effectively the new face of the league and Angel Reese has decided to enter her Draymond Green era, then, by all means, like, all you're doing is just I hate to be I hate to be crass, but you're basically putting butts in seats. So, that's one of the reasons why, you get more people to watch the WNBA this way. And how many people actually knew that the WNBA was happening, the All-Star game was happening this weekend? That's probably not many. So like this helps move the needle a little bit. I do think that you might have more people watching. I think is it on Peacock or is it on ESPN?
That's a really good question. I have no clue what it's on. I'm assuming it's on ESPN.
Okay.
I just assume. I'll check. Keep talking.
And so it would be nice to see them, see the captain's draft, and then we'll go from there. It would be interesting if she and Angel Reese are on the same team. I hope they squash their beef. Really, I and this may be a hot take, but like Angel Reese needs to figure out why she has a beef with Caitlin Clark, because from what I have seen, the games that I've watched where they're playing, she's the one who's instigating it. It's a lot like Draymond. Sometimes when Draymond Green does the same thing, it's like, not right now, please. Like, save that for the wrestling ring, or do it for in the off season. Just my take. Don't. I understand why they're doing it, because this is something that I was thinking about earlier before I got on the show, is that everything is more or less just specced out. You have a script for the NFL, you have a script for the NBA, you have a script for the WNBA. So maybe that's what's happening here. I don't know.
Another perfect segue. Chicago Sky forward Angel Reese became the latest WNBA high-profile star to call out the league's officiating, saying it has to be fixed, and I'm tired of this shit, after they lost 80-75 to the Lynx after only attempting 8 free throws to the 17 that the Lynx had. I don't think that's big of a discrepancy, but she's not the first person to say this, obviously. There's a lot of players that have blasted the referees this year, including Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White and Kelsey Plum, who we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, if Kelsey Plum's doing it and there are others, then perhaps there's some credence there with the refs. I think overall, systemically across sport, you have this issue where it's the ump show. The umps are looking to have, and it's a problem. I mean, it's a massive problem. Either they want the attention on them, or they're not getting paid enough. Which is it? And if they're not getting paid enough, then we have a whole nother issue that we need to sort out.
Yeah. That's a whole bigger issue. I think it's the attention part, but that's a whole big issue. But going back to the Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, I will push back with counterpoint.
Go ahead.
Yes, a lot of people agree with you, but I'm on the other side of things. I love Angel Reese's game, and while she's boisterous, she's a little bit arrogant, things like that. I don't necessarily think that she's causing any of the issues between Caitlin Clark. I think it is a lot more WNBA and media boosted than it is necessarily the two of them at all. And I honestly also, when looking at fouls that have happened between the two of them, I don't really think it was either or. I think it was just hard play that was coming between the two of them. And it makes Angel Reese look a little worse if she is the one that is doing things that are, like Draymond Green but at the same time, you could also look at that from the racial point of view and say, well, maybe a lot of people are just putting that on her because of her race versus the white people. And again, this goes into the white versus black thing that we had with Magic Johnson and Larry Bird back in the 80s. And the Celtics and Lakers. So what do you think about that?
I think if we're going back to that, I think first it's a tenuous time. I'm okay with it if you want to frame it that way. But okay, fine. Frame it as a Magic versus Bird.
I'm just asking. I'm not framing it. I'm just telling you what a lot of people.
No. I'm not saying you frame it. I'm saying if the WNBA wants to frame it as a Magic versus Bird, like for the modern era, then okay, I understand that to an extent. But you're making her out to be a lot more like Draymond than Magic, And don't get me started on how Draymond should be run out the league, because I think he should run out the league. And move Curry to Milwaukee. I'm just going to change things around is what I'm going to do.
None of that is happening.
But thank you for that. But we'll see how the draft shakes out. And is the game also going to be played this Sunday as well, or just the draft?
No, I think it's both the draft and the game the same night.
That's cool. Well, that should be fun to watch. If Sunday night you don't have anything else to do, by all means.
I mean, there's not very many sports on right now. So.
If you don't want to watch Sunday night baseball,
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, obviously being baseball fans, we know there will be. There will be Sunday night, because that'll be the last
game of the week. Yeah.
Subscribe on YouTube at Ball and Buds for sports and entertainment